Because I do actually look at a lot of things, and so family-wise, my family's kind of Republican, conservative.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, you're a communist.
Maybe. Who knows? But no, because like they'll talk about some stuff. I've sat in some of their conversations without really adding too much because I realized I have a totally different opinion on some subjects.
Well, then what's wrong with bringing it up?
Well, mainly just because like they are very passionate people about them.
Yeah, so then they should have good arguments.
They have yell really loudly. And
so I know that I win the argument because I'm louder than you as I say the same thing over and over.
Sometimes don't get me wrong, they'll throw up a reason behind it why they yell really loudly. I just don't like super yelling.
I like that. I like the idea of thinking where it's like, well, maybe we should have universal basic income. No, it's like, well, why not? No, it's stupid. You're a communist.
But no, like,
you're like, well, you give me a reason.
But no, I've gotten to the. Not arguments, I've gotten just listening to them talk about just gun control and other random stuff like that. But there was one conversation in particular that kind of threw me off, where it made me realize I'm like, maybe I am kind of a social justice warrior because I'm about the whole like feminist wave movement, right? Not the new age.
Third wave, I don't like third wave.
I don't like that at all.
First wave was good. Second wave was like, we want the right to be whores.
Yeah,
I'm like,
whatever.
okay, sure, be a whore.
But like,
Is that a swear word?
Technically, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is cunt?
Oh yeah, that definitely is a swear word.
But not in Australia.
Okay, we're not there. I just want to make that very clear. We don't live in that country. Anyways, yeah. So they were just talking about random weird stuff, and I was like, we were talking about feminism to a degree, and then we got on this weird conversation about gays. Okay.
No, the gays. And
I was like,
is that sexist to say the gays?
I think that's bigotry.
To just say the gays?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if sexist is the right word in that sentence.
Yeah, no, I knew it wasn't sexist. I just said that to be funny.
Fair enough.
After saying the gay.
The gays. No.
Oh no, the gay.
But
I don't think anybody's ever said that.
They got upset because
I don't think anybody's been afraid of the gay.
So their kids were listening to an artist that's gay.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the same one that your dad played for me yesterday.
Oh yeah. What man do you think of when you sing this? That was so good.
I like the fact because your dad did it in joking, and I'm fine with that, whatever. Yeah. But they were serious. The other people, they were just straight up serious. And I was like, they're like, I don't want my kids listening to that because the guy's gay. And I'm like, what does that have to do with the music?
That's weird.
Like, what does that?
To me, that sounds like you're like, I don't want you listening to this because he's black. And it's like, what? Yeah. It's just music.
Exactly. That's what it really
you better not go eat that food. It's black food. What?
The reason I say
who are you?
Social justice warrior is because I fought for them in this sense where I was like, it's just music. Yeah. It's good. I played that music for that person without letting them know one day. Just another day later, I was like, playing this. And they were like, this is really good. Who is this? I'm like, that gay guy.
It's the gay.
They were like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just had to trick you because you weren't going to listen to it otherwise. And it was like, good music though, right? Because you just admitted it yourself. It's like, yeah. And it was like, okay, you should leave your kids alone with it. It's just good music.
Yeah.
Like, don't get upset for stuff like that. But the way he looked at me afterwards made me realize that he was like, so you're a snowflake. I'm like,
what?
How am I?
I don't think you're a snowflake, James.
Oh, I think I am either.
I think you can have opinions that lean more to the left, but that doesn't mean that you're social justice warrior.
No,
you're not.
That's actually something interesting too. I looked up there's a whole wave of people making fun of people for calling people snowflakes, and I thought that was an interesting wave. Like, you probably go to YouTube right now and just find a bunch of people that do it. And it was just weird because they were like, snowflake comes from cis males that blah blah blah. I'm like, so your argument for getting a nickname is to give someone else a nickname of what exactly they are. It's like, so you're a cis male, which again, I don't entirely understand that. So could you clarify that? Do you know what that is?
Cis?
Yeah, what a cis male is.
I don't remember what it's shorthand for, but the definition is that you are you're a man that was born a man and you identify as a man, and you're Yeah, because like they're trying to make social justice warriors, right? They're trying to make it where like if I want to be called a woman, I can be called a woman.
Yeah.
But I'm not a cis woman.
Because you weren't born.
I wasn't born a woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would be a trans woman. But then the thing is, there's also people that are starting to argue that you shouldn't even call a trans woman, you should just call them a woman.
I mean, I do that.
I don't know.
I don't care.
It doesn't come up in my life.
Like, it only comes up because of shows I've watched where I'm like, okay, so I was watching Sense8 or something like that, and I was like, dude, that's a man that became a woman. And my friend was like, what? And I was like, yeah, she's hot. He's like, she kind of is though. I'm like, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
hey, some of them transition really well.
Yeah.
Most of them don't.
Yeah.
Most of them turn out ugly.
I'll say I haven't met enough to say it's a 50-50 or one way or the other. I will say at this moment in time, it's a...
Some are and some aren't. It's as simple as that.
It's a 25-75 for me at this moment in time.
Okay.
25% yes, hot. 75% no.
Uh-huh.
So far.
Uh-huh.
But haven't met a lot of them.
Uh-huh.
So, but I think I would argue that you can just call them a woman. Like, it's hard sometimes too, because like...
Well, the thing is, right now, the war that's being fought is that the absolute feminists are fighting against transgenders because of the fact that a trans woman is trying to say you should just call me a woman, and feminists are like, you can't be a woman because you're a man.
Like,
you get what I'm saying? Like that's how extreme that's what's happening though. That's what's happening.
That's really not backpedaling. What would you call that?
It's not backpedaling. It's really just that like all these people that united to say we're on the side together, all of a sudden standing in a circle shooting each other.
Yeah.
Like what's the term? A circular firing squad is what it's become.
That's why I wanted to say backpedaling, but
where it's like
they all work together.
Because you had LGBT, you had the LGBT community, the feminist community, and I think yeah, and then maybe I don't know if there was another one, but they all teamed up to get some change made, and then they started getting that change made and accepted, and then said, now you're the villain.
Is it because they need someone to fight?
Oh yeah.
Is that like
rage? People need rage. They need to be outraged and mobs.
Is war actually necessary for the human society? Because I talked to you about Berserkers the other day.
Is war necessary?
Like,
maybe.
If they stay still too long, they just go berserk and start killing everyone in their own group.
Yeah, that's what's happening. That is what is happening.
It's like there's no more reward to fight on this.
Because so you have to remember these people. I'll just put them all as social justice warrior types.
Okay.
And just generalize here.
Yeah,
which they hate, but we'll do that.
Yeah, sure.
They fought a war that they thought they had to passionately fight against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He then is removed from office, and they have exactly what they wanted. You know what I mean? Like they got exactly what they fought for and everything that they wanted. And now they're like, well, my entire identity was built around fighting this thing. I've got to find something else to fight. So then they just start turning on each other. That's what's happening, is that their entire personality was that we are fighting for this cause. So we have to keep having a cause to fight for.
That seems silly. That's
what I think's happening.
And
that's just my opinion. I don't know.
There's so many movies that are built around that premise of what do you do after there's no more war to fight?
Yeah, well, that's why we have all these endless wars.
And it's like, yeah, because what would you do? What would we as Americans do if we weren't fighting for everything that we're fighting for? Like, eventually you just get bored.
Be pretty different.
Replace it, right?
Be pretty different, that's for sure.
Or you could actually put all of that...
We could probably do a lot of good if we stopped fighting.
Yeah, that drive.
If we stopped fighting endless wars, we could probably do a lot of innovation.
Yeah, exactly. Because
although war does help drive innovation.
Yeah, but it drives innovation for
more
war.
Murder. Yeah, for war, right.
They're like, look at this more deadly weapon we created.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, but then also it's like, hey, they made really good defenses, so we've just created the best transportation ever. And now that we've gotten it so good, we're going to give a little dumbed down version as commercial use. So now we have even faster airplanes for you.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that too. But yeah, generally it's we need to make this thing even better at killing. Yeah, America.
So ridiculous.
I
could talk about war, not at all, because I hate it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I hate war. I hate war.
It makes no sense.
There are just wars, though, but I don't think we've had a just war in a very, very long
time. What would you consider a just war?
A just war?
Yeah.
Killing Hitler because he was genociding people.
I mean, couldn't we just send assassins to kill him?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, not had a war?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't think at the time we would have been able to.
Possibly not.
Maybe, though. I don't know.
possibly not.
But
we had
but like,
not assassins,
you
we
know,
had
if
spies.
the thing is, if someone starts, because basically I don't remember what year I would say it kind of is, but like basically the world has been established that it's like, here's the borders for all the countries, and we're all the countries that are gonna be, no new countries.
Yeah.
Okay, this is it. And then as soon as someone says, but I'm gonna take some of your stuff, everyone's like, no, you're not, and we're gonna fight you. And like, I don't know if that's actually just, but if someone just rolls in and says, now this is ours, I feel like that's a good reason to be like, back off, bro, you're bullying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, to prevent.
Because we kind of just said, this is now the thing. This is how the world is now. Is these countries, no new ones, no taking over anybody else.
Yeah.
And the only now instead of actual boots on the ground for territory, we fight in culture. We try to impose our culture on a place to change them.
Yes, because that's what they need.
Right. We try to westernize the world through culture instead of through conquest.
I mean, is it because we think that if everyone was the same, there wouldn't be a need for a war? Or
No.
is it because we just want them to be more like us and accept what we do?
I think it's because we like the idea of freedoms, and we think that everyone would enjoy it. Like we really do have the best system. It's not perfect. It has flaws, but we have the best system. Western culture and civilization. We have the best system, and we've tried. I'll explain why it's the best just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, please.
Because religious freedoms and the fact that we were willing to just take a bunch of different cultures and throw them together and take only the best pieces, and then we made our culture. Because like all of these countries, we came over and we colonized this place, and then we only kept the best stuff. And we made this new thing that was a big old smashed together hodgepodge of all this other old stuff. And we're like, boom, here's the best things of everything. Best culture.
I mean,
we don't live under Sharia law, okay? We don't throw gays off rooftops.
No, I get you.
All right?
I get you.
We have the best culture. And I think everyone would do better and flourish. We also, because of the way that we're run, we can have the most innovation. Generally in the world, the way things go is that we invent a technology, then someone else improves it. Like, we might be like, hey, we made the first rockets, and then, I don't know, someone like Japan's like, hey, that's pretty freaking clever. We're gonna make, using this baseline of the thing you made, we can use that to invent a whole new thing.
Yeah.
But it all starts because of the way that we're set up in our system of just free market and capitalism and all that. We encourage our people to make things.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the world gets those things, and then people like China can learn how to like mass produce it or make it more efficiently, I guess would be a way to put it. But the thing is that like China doesn't actually invent new technology. They get new technology that was invented by other people and then mass produce and improve it.
Which, that's the thing though, is if you change their culture, wouldn't that change how the world is ran?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And wouldn't
definitely.
that take away...
But I don't like one world government and crap like that.
Say, wouldn't that take away from the uniqueness of everybody's country?
I like uniqueness, but here's the thing. I don't think that women should be forced to wear burqas and then get murdered if they commit adultery by being stoned to death unless they have 4 witnesses to testify against them for every one man.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I agree.
You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of cultures that do a lot of things that are really not good.
I agree. There's tweaking that can be done in everyone's culture, and I do mean everyone's. Now,
yeah.
That being said, though, I don't know if it's our right to push that.
West is the best, baby.
I don't know.
West
if
is
it's
the best.
right to push it.
No, we don't push it.
No, we just show up and tell them.
No.
They should eventually switch over to our side.
No. We
With
used
guns
to.
in their faces.
We used to, but we don't do that now.
Sure, we don't.
No. If you're talking about like the war in the Middle
I'm
East,
not even talking about wars. I'm talking about the quiet ones, the ones that we don't read about.
wars and rumors of wars. No, see, nowadays, basically all we have to do is we just sit around, and then anytime anybody learns about how awesome America is, they're like, hey, let's go there, because that's way better than what we got.
I mean, yeah.
Why do you think we have a surge of migrants?
Well, what about Japan? I feel like they don't really. They did during World War I and II, or II, I think was more accurate.
Well, remember England forced Japan, or was it America actually? I forget. Either way, Japan would have stuck to its own, but we forced them to trade with us. And I mean Western culture. I don't know if it was America or England.
I'm pretty
We
sure
literally went over there and at gunpoint said, no, you're going to give us that stuff and we're going to give you this stuff and we're now in a trade agreement.
Yeah,
and they're like, no, we don't want to do that. And it's
98% positive it's England. 98. Can't be 100 yet, but I think it was England.
But you're now part of the world. And they're like, fine, we'll do international trading, I guess. Yeah, or we'll kill you.
Yeah, which was
it's for your betterment.
It was kind of crappy on
now, see, the thing is,
everyone's part there.
The thing is, if you go too far with what I'm saying, like if me being like, I think Western culture is the best, blah, 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 and then you go to an extreme, and that is when you're forcing it on the rest of the world, that's when you get what England was doing, where they were saying by colonizing, we're doing it by bringing culture
to everyone.
We're bringing our culture to uncultured people. Uncivilized. The uncivilized scourge.
They were cultured. They just weren't your culture.
Right. And that's where there is a bit of like, okay, you're getting a little extreme there. Getting a little extreme. Let's not go that far.
Yeah.
But I think there's
a way to have a betterment for everyone without actually imposing anything upon them.
I think we do it passively. I think at this point, with how much innovation and technology there is and the mass communication networks that we have set up, that everyone in the entire globe can be connected, except for like indigenous tribes and crap like that are still out there.
Yeah, they should just remain that way.
They're still out there.
I don't think we should actually affect them at all. So, yeah.
What if we could make their lives better?
What if they just like what they're doing?
What if they do like what they're doing? What if they're so far out in the middle of nowhere that they've never been to a city and have no idea?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if they're alive and thriving in their own world, doing whatever, leave them alone. It's the same way I look at animals. Like, I don't think we should put animals in a cage. And I'm not even talking about house pets or anything like that.
What if Earth is a zoo?
Dude, we probably are. Or a very bad science experiment.
Okay, yeah, I like that too. We'll have to do an episode about that. But anyways, what was the actual topic? Social justice warriors?
Yeah.
And the fact that they're eating their own, and then Western cultures, and that we need to... I think that we're doing it the best. It doesn't mean that we're absolutely right. But also, if it wasn't for Western culture, we couldn't even have these kind of arguments.
Yeah, true.
There's a lot of upsides to it. It's not perfect, obviously.
Where's the upside? He needs an upside.
But there's a lot of cool things that we get to do that you can't do in a lot of places. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I think as Americans, we have an amazing world, an amazing culture that we've built. Can be perfected, yes. I don't know how.
I don't know. I don't know if it can be perfected. I think it actually...
I definitely still think...
I think the system needs to be slightly broken, and like that's kind of like what makes it work.
Have a drive?
That's kind
of for people to have drives, right?
I guess.
Because like otherwise it does become socialism in a way. Like if everything was
perfect. if we could make a socialist utopia, I think it would. Remember how we were working on a comic?
Yes.
About someone who lived in a social utopia, and then his whole thing was that he actually wanted to bring chaos to it.
Yeah.
And like not in a villainous intent to destroy the system, but in a like...
Oh, technically.
Technically? It seemed...
Not that he was a villain,
mm-hmm.
but it was intent to bring chaos to the system because it was...
boring.
Yes, in his
it was
words, boring.
Yeah.
It was like nothing actually... No one does anything interesting. Nothing's really going on. And
yeah,
like,
and that's why I think the fact that the system is kind of broken keeps it interesting. Because if it was perfect, then it would be boring. But because it's slightly broken, it's like, hey, we have a project to work on. We could try to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to an extent. I just don't see people doing it.
No.
Like I don't see us.
That was a big one.
Yeah, it really was. I don't ever see anyone trying to truly fix the system.
Oh no, especially in politics.
The only way they're going to do it is by destroying it.
It's great that we have this whole class of people that are politicians, and then the whole thing,
they're the worst.
Their whole livelihood depends on them saying, "Look at this, it's broken, and I'll fix it," and then not.
And never touch it.
Because if you fix it, then you don't need to get reelected.
Well, also, our whole...
What do we need you for if it's fixed?
Our whole system of politics is actually wrong, and it should not be a thing at all.
No, that's a debate.
Opinion.
That's a debate, too.
Personal opinion.
Because some of it's messed up. I have absolutely less
government means no government. Anarchy all the way.
Hey man, there's this dude Michael Malice. He's an anarchist, and he's I forget what exact.
He's an anarchist.
Yeah, he's an anarchist that is completely like, we don't need police, we don't need blah blah blah, we don't need any government at all this stuff, and like he can make some pretty good arguments. I don't agree with him.
But they're not bad
But
arguments.
one is he's very charismatic and enjoyable to listen to. He's got a great sense of humor and he knows what he's talking about. So it's kind of like for someone who's more of a layman like myself, when I listen to his arguments, I'm like, something in me tells me that wouldn't work, but I couldn't debate you on it. You'd win every debate because you know exactly what you're talking about. And like, so I'd check him out. Michael Malice. Check out some of his interviews and stuff.
I don't do politics.
Interesting guy. Interesting beliefs.
He sounds very odd. I think I might have to look him up just because I want to see at least what he's about.
Yeah, he's very interesting guy.
It's anarchy. I know what he's about.
Yeah, he's about anarchy. But the thing is, I forget what, because like there's like 12 types of anarchy.
Yeah, there's
you know what I mean?
Like you want certain types of government, and then you want like.
But there's absolute anarchy too, where it is literally no rules, no laws.
Yeah, no
government.
Just go.
Mm-hmm.
Humans being humans.
You know, one thing that I think is really interesting is that Marxists and conservatives, Republicans, libertarians, those like conservative, libertarian, Republican, those three, whatever, because they have some overlap, but they're not all the same. They agree with Marxists when it comes to gun legislation and gun laws, because Marxists say that the only way for the working class to have any power in the system is that they're all armed. And the Republicans and libertarians and conservatives say the only way that we keep the government in check is we're all armed.
I mean, okay.
And it's like, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing, like, because where the Marxist communists say that all the working class should get equal share of all business and production, and
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then
who's getting the money?
Everyone gets the same amount.
Who's paying for the stuff?
The government. So taxes. So you are.
The money I get
Yes.
from them, I'm going to give back to them so they can in turn give it back to me.
Yes.
We're just going to make this circle.
Yeah, it's called worker co-op. So you start a business and say there's 5 of you. Okay, this is the greatest argument ever because it's actually stupid. It's that Marxism say we're true democrat, we're true democracy, because we want to bring democracy to every facet of life, including the workplace. If you go to work, you should be able to vote on what the company decision is going to be. And then, so get this, that means that I want to be a cashier at Taco Bell. Mm-hmm. Now, the cooks and all the cashiers and all of the management, if they're like, hey, we're going to put out a new commercial, everyone has to be involved to give their opinion on what to do.
So you're never going to put out a commercial?
Nothing will get done. Because also, what if I'm literally the cashier and I'm coming in and I'm like, I wanted to just take people's money and go home. You know, like I wanted to come in and then push buttons, take the money and give them change and give them their food and then go home. And it's like, yeah, but now I know you're supposed to be off today, but you've got to come in for a mandatory meeting because we're making executive decisions here.
You never get off days. You'd be like, as soon as you're done with your shift, you go to that freaking manager meeting because they're constantly having one anyway.
But here's also the thing. Everyone makes the same amount of money. Okay? So no one has any incentive to try and improve anything.
Also, no one has any incentive to make things any more expensive.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I'm affecting myself if I make this more expensive. So it's going to stay at a really low price, which would be awesome, actually.
In some ways, yeah.
But
it's just bringing democracy to the workplace is essentially the argument they make.
Which I actually could get behind some of that thought process, not the whole thing.
Oh no, Marxism, socialism, communism, in theory, all of it is like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
In practice, it doesn't work because the only way it works is that there's an authoritarian regime with guns that forces everyone at gunpoint to operate within the parameters of the system.
If you wanted to ignore that part of it, and actually the only other way would be is if all humans had no greed. Be the only non-authoritarian way of doing
And I don't
that.
think that's possible.
Yeah, no.
I think in one way or another, everybody has a bit of greed.
Yeah.
Some more than others.
People are greedy.
But yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, the thing is, like, we're selfish and greedy, so that's what really comes down to. We started off this conversation with
social justice warriors. We're still in the same boat. But you were saying you were kind of one, and I think through this conversation, no, you're not.
I mean, that's still debatable.
I don't think you are. I think
to a lot of people,
you definitely lean left, and I lean right.
Yeah.
And that's it. But we're both centrists.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because we can both look and say, well, that's good, but that's not. That's good, but that's not.
Yeah. I mean,
to all of it, and be like, we needed to chop up bits and pieces and put it together.
And I
like Western culture.
I think that's the best part about the world, America, where we live and everything, is that we can argue and have debates about that and be on totally different sides and not kill each other or go to war.
Yes, and the problem, though, that we run into is that you get to the point of being a social justice warrior where they say, no, if you don't have the right opinion, you don't get a voice.
That's why I made the statement I did.
That's pretty...
You and I don't go to war about things that we don't agree on, because it makes no sense. Just because someone doesn't agree with you means that you have to immediately brand them a villain.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't make any sense.
Like, why? Just because I don't like a man or you like the man does not mean we should go to war on the decisions he's made. Or she, depending on who it is. I mean, because like right now, as much as we say Biden's in office, I actually think it's more...
No, it's Harris.
Or however you say her name. Kamala.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah. She definitely seems to have more of her control. I haven't seen a lot about her, though.
Right, no, that's kind of I think the point is that Biden gets to be the face and then Kamala runs all of the stuff.
Yeah, but we also haven't seen a lot of him either. He's done a couple of press conferences, and that's about it.
I think he did one, and then other than that, he's done speeches.
Yeah, with Trump, when he was in office, like that first year, man, oh my God, he was everywhere. Like, everywhere. That song, I've Been Everywhere, man, should have been playing, like, on the loop for him.
Yeah.
Like,
He was constantly talking to everybody.
I mean, but he used the rule, all press is good press. Like, no matter what they were saying, he was being talked about. And it's like, I think Biden could fall under that, honestly, if he was smart enough.
After the 2016 election, that's what all the news, like CNN and all of them were like, so why is it that Trump won? And they were like, I think it's kind of our fault because we kept talking about him.
Just kept having him up here.
Constantly. Like, because, I mean, they were always, saying negative stuff about him, but the thing is that it's like 80 to 90% of their news day was talking bad about Trump.
Which means
instead of
all the people who were watching were just hearing his name.
About Trump, yes.
Who is he running against?
Yeah. And it's like, well, they knew it was Hillary because it's female. Yeah. First female president potential.
Yeah, but they didn't really talk too much about her.
No, exactly, which was the problem. They should have been focusing on saying good things about Hillary instead of saying bad things about Trump, and that would have changed things.
It'd probably been a different outcome.
Yeah, I think it really would have changed things. Because that's how people are, the normies. The normies just, they hear the headlines and then accept it as truth.
Sheeples.
That's another way to put it, yeah.
But I mean, hey, that's it for now, because I think we're done.
Oh, we probably went well past what we normally do. Sorry, I got a little ranty.
No, you're good.
But you brought up the thing that's like, well, this is the thing I study all day, every day.
I don't do politics. I just had a moment thought, and that was it.
Because I really like to understand what Marxist ideology, like what it is that they're, like...
Post on our thing so I can look at it, because I'm not going to otherwise.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. And then anarchy. I like seeing what the anarchists are talking about, the all the different perspectives. I like to see what all they're trying to sell. But then looking at the actual, like, well, if we follow the reasoning and the logic, here's what the end conclusion would be, and that's why we shouldn't do that thing. And that's why by studying all this, I'm like, I think we're closest to getting it where we're at now. There's some changes that could be made. We're real close.
I mean, possibly.
All right, but anyways, bye guys.
Bye.
Let's see you next week.
Click that like and share button and things, and ring the bells. Ding, ding, dings.
Most important thing is to leave us a comment. We'll respond to it within
definitely comment
within a couple years. We'll get around to it.
Yeah, definitely comment. We might say something to you.
Yeah.
I might look it up. I might not. He might. Who knows?
Bear Thing does. Bear Thing reads all the comments.
I mean, yeah, he does read all the comments. I did notice that when I went through the stuff, he did heart a lot of stuff. So, hey, Bear Thing checks you guys out and listens to what you say. He just doesn't always relate it to us, so...
Yeah, he basically runs the channels. We just record the things, and then while he's in Yemen on his time off, he'll do the random crap, whatever it is.
I mean, we've been saying that he's going to hopefully be here.
Dude.
He's been talking to us about...
I don't know if you've seen what's going on in Yemen, but it's getting worse and worse. I don't know if he's ever coming.
Oh, God. Maybe he'll get...
it's pretty bad over there.
What do you call it?
It's pretty rough.
When they're off their tour.
Leave?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Probably. All right.
You know he's not a soldier, right? He's mercenary.
Oh. What, don't mercenaries still do tours, too?
I guess. He's in a private army.
You would think they do tours.
What is it? Blackwater? I think it's Blackwater.
I don't know anything about mercenary groups.
Oh, really? Yeah. I think he's in Blackwater. I don't remember though.
But all right, guys.
Peace.
Love you.